Ah, that little orange engine light. You know the one. Let's be real, it's never a welcome sight, but it's not a sign of impending doom either. Think of it more like a direct message from your car. And today, we're going to decode that message, specifically when it's flashing the code P0456. So there you are, driving along, and boom, it comes on. Your heart kind of sinks, and your mind immediately starts calculating repair bills, right? We've all been there. But hold on. More often than not, that light is pointing to something that's surprisingly manageable. In this case, it's code P0456, and we're about to solve this little mystery. So, what is your car actually trying to tell you with this code? It's not nearly as cryptic as it looks. Basically, your car's computer ran a self-test and found a very specific and very small issue that it wants you to know about. Okay, here's the translation. P0456 means the computer has detected a tiny leak in what's called the evaporative emission system, or EVAP for short. Now, this system has a really important job. It captures all the harmful gasoline vapors from your fuel tank, and instead of letting them pollute the atmosphere, it sends them back to the engine to be burned off. It's a clever piece of environmental tech built right into your car. And when the code says very small leak, trust me, it's not kidding. We are talking about a hole that's about 2/100ths of an inch in diameter. To put that in perspective, that is literally the size of a pinhole. So right away, you can breathe a sigh of relief. We're not dealing with some catastrophic failure here. This one number makes the whole problem a lot less scary. You can kind of think of the EVAP system as your car's way of managing fuel vapor. First, those vapors leave the gas tank. They get trapped in this thing called a charcoal canister, which acts like a sponge. Then, when the time is right, a valve opens up, and the engine's own vacuum sucks those vapors right into the engine to be burned cleanly. It's a simple, closed-loop system that's designed to be perfectly sealed all the time. So how would you even know you have this tiny leak? Well, honestly, you probably wouldn't. The number one symptom is just the check engine light itself. In some really rare cases, you might notice a very faint smell of gas, and you definitely fail an emissions test. But the car itself, it's going to drive perfectly fine. Okay, so we know there's a pinhole-sized leak somewhere in the system. The big question is where? It's time to play detective and look at the usual suspects. And trust me, we're going to start with the most common one, by a mile. Now, before we get into a whole list of parts that could be the problem, let me just say this. More often than not, the cause of a P0456 code is incredibly simple. It's something you can check and fix in about 30 seconds with zero tools. And here they are. Now, while the leak could be from a cracked hose or a bad valve or a faulty sensor, the overwhelming number one most common cause is simply a loose or faulty gas cap. Seriously. The gas cap is the main seal for the whole fuel system, so if it's not on tight or if the seal is just old and worn out, the system flags it as a leak. Bam! Check engine light. Now, a couple of other potential culprits on that list are the purge and vent valves. You don't need to be a mechanic here, just know that these are basically little electronic gates that control the flow of vapor. The purge valve is up in the engine bay and is normally closed, while the vent valve is near the gas tank and is normally open. If either one gets stuck or fails to seal right, well, that can cause the exact kind of tiny leak we're hunting for. All right, knowing the potential causes is one thing, but having a clear plan of attack is what really helps. So let's walk through a logical, step-by-step diagnostic plan that starts with the absolute easiest and most common fix first. No guessing, no randomly swapping parts. This is your game plan. First, and I can't stress this enough, check the gas cap. If that doesn't solve it, you can do a quick visual inspection of any hoses you can see for obvious cracks. If the light still comes back, then it might be time for a professional tool called a smoke test. The key is to follow this order. Don't skip to the hard stuff. So, what does checking the gas cap really mean? First, just unscrew it and then screw it back on, making sure you hear it click at least 3 times. That click is what tells you it's tight. While you have it off, take a look at the rubber seal. If it looks all cracked, brittle, or worn out, just replace the cap. And here's a pro tip. Always try to use a quality OEM part from the dealer. Sometimes those cheaper aftermarket caps just don't create a perfect seal. Now, if you've tightened or even replaced your gas cap and that pesky light comes back on, the next step is a professional smoke test. It's actually pretty cool. A mechanic pumps a harmless, visible smoke into the EVAP system, and wherever that smoke starts puffing out, well, that's the exact location of your pinhole leak. It takes all the guesswork right out of the equation. All right, so we've translated the code, we've identified the suspects, and we've got a solid action plan. Now let's wrap this up by focusing on the single most important thing to remember when you see this specific code. So, the crucial point is this. P0456 is not a code to be afraid of. It doesn't mean your engine is about to explode, and it almost never means you're facing a massive repair bill. It's an emissions alert for a tiny leak, and the cause is very often a fix that is either totally free, just tightening the gas cap, or costs less than a tank of gas. You can go from feeling that anxiety to having a solution in literally a matter of minutes. You see, understanding what that light on your dashboard means is the first step toward becoming a more confident car owner. It transforms that moment of panic into a simple, solvable puzzle. Now that you've got this one down, what other car mysteries are you ready to solve next?